What perceived nice behavior is actually more annoying than it is nice. Somebody waving you on in traffic when they have the right of way. People recording themselves giving gifts to the homeless. This is removing the selfless part of charity. Defeating the purpose. You're making it about yourself, not the help provided. Never making a decision or having an opinion. I don't know, where do you want to eat? 5, 3, 1. First person picks 5 places. Second person picks 3 out of the 5. First person chooses out of those 3. The indecisive person can either have the last call and force themselves to come up with 5 options, or take the easy route in exchange for the privilege of making the last call. Offering to help me when I'm in my wheelchair, or grabbing the handles and redirecting me. Imagine if you were standing there and someone physically lifted you up and put you somewhere else. Not very pleasant, yeah? Think of the wheelchair as an extension of the body. Don't touch without permission, especially if you're a stranger. If someone seems to need help, you can offer it, but do not insist they take it. And if they tell you they're good, let them be. Do not get huffy and say, well, I was just trying to be nice. No, Karen, you were trying to get savior points and feel good about yourself. People do this, as in just grab your chair without asking. That's so incredibly rude, I just can't even. I've seen someone, a stranger, use the controls of an electric wheelchair to move a high school kid. For reasons unknown, I knew the high schooler, so I knew what was coming. His legs didn't work but his mouth sure did. And I bet the Karen never touches anyone's mobility device ever again. Edit. Point of clarification. He used his words. I feel horrible that I implied that he bit her. When the store employee follows you around constantly asking, can I help you with anything? This isn't nice. This is someone watching you for shoplifting or trying to make a commission. As someone who worked in retail, this is exactly the reason. People who say, smile, quote, I freaking hate this. I'm not a trained animal ready to do your bidding. I had someone at work tell me this. I just blank stared at the monsieur. A minute later they remarked that I still wasn't smiling. I told them I wasn't performing on command. They didn't know what to say about that. Giving people pets is gifts. 3 of my 4 cats were gifts. Not me. To the people who got rid of the monsieur, unfortunately not every gift animal ends up in as good a life as these guys have. I can't say for certain, but I imagine that letting the disabled kid win purely because they're disabled is more insulting than encouraging. Down syndrome prom king checking in. Wait, shit. I've always had issues with sleeping, so there's always someone trying to help or give me their opinions on how to fix it. I get that they mean well, but most of the time it just annoys me, especially since it usually comes from someone who doesn't have problems falling asleep. How can you help me if you don't even know what it's like? I think this can be said for most unsolicited medical advice. When you have horrible acne and people feel the need to say stuff like, it will get better. Have you tried drinking more water? Quote, like gee thank never tried this water you speak of. What else you got for me? Wash my face and change my sheets. Oog, I'm 30. With horrible acne scars and I still get cystic acne. I hate this carrot. I love just saying in a concerned and confused tone. I have to wash my bed sheets. To complete strangers. Fuck you, monsieur. Exactly. I'm 28 and there seems to be no end in sight. It got marginally better when I got on a med that happened to help clear skin on the side of its intended purpose, but that's the only thing that's helped. Someone holding the door for you when you are too far away, so you have to either start jogging or make them stand there an extra 10 seconds and seem like a dick. Greater than make them stand there, you're not making them do a fucking thing. People who practically force you to eat and drink when you visit them, to the point where they take it as a slight against them if you say no. I had this when staying over with my grandparents. I woke up late and everyone else had already finished breakfast, so I decided not to bother. My granddad looked at me very closely and said in a slightly threatening way, "You will eat." So I ate. When parents insist that their kids give you a hug, even if you know the parents well, the kids might not feel comfortable hugging you and the whole situation just becomes awkward and uncomfortable for them. I adore my nieces and nephews, but if they say no when I ask for a hug, I'll respect that. It should be their choice. When someone tries to pay for something for you and insist when you say, "No thanks," I stopped arguing with people that do this. If someone wants to pay the bill, I just let them because I know they feel better about doing it. But you don't have to spend a single penny. Just take no for an answer. Geez. I'm constantly told that I should stop saying sorry. I grew up in an abusive household where anything could set my parents off, so I always said sorry when something happened, just to be safe. Now as an adult, people either tell me to toughen up or that I'm being condescending. Sorry. Hi, from Canada. You're fine. Don't apologize for de-escalating a situation. It's what we do. Asking, "Are you okay?" every 5 minutes. Look, I'm just trying to see if you've been struck by a smooth criminal. Unsolicited advice on my mental health conditions or chronic illness. Trust me, I tried yoga, water, vitamins, exercise, etc. I know you want to help, but unless I ask, I don't want to talk about it. My life already revolves around it. I hear you on being tired of the topic. But also, there's the fact that the chronically ill person has almost certainly been spending all the time and energy they can on looking into their illness for years. They've read thousands of comments of peer advice in forums, consulted many a medical professional, read several books and countless studies, and tried dozens of things, while journaling symptoms to keep track of whether things help. It's like getting a degree, except you didn't get any say in picking the topic. To suggest that we haven't heard of some extremely well-known health idea shows that the meddler has made some very disrespectful assumptions. By acting as if we know nothing on the topic, they are implying that rather than having this involuntary master's degree in our illness, we have just sat around picking our nose and watching soap operas. Since we lost our health, they think we are too lazy and stupid to spend even 10 minutes Googling our issues. If someone has the same issues or similar ones, that's different, of course. A fellow patient may indeed have tips that are new to us, and vice versa. Still best to get consent. But it isn't insulting because it's between equals. Someone who only heard of my illness in the current conversation trying to tell me their pearls of wisdom. That's the obnoxious thing. Those people who never state their actual preferences, so you have no choice but to be inconsiderate. I always believe that you never state your actual preferences. You have no right to complain when one option is selected. Learn to speak your mind. Where do you want to eat? Quote, "It doesn't matter to me." How about, insert restaurant. Quote, "Ew, I hate that place." Quote, "I always say anywhere but here," or "not this type of food, but I also don't enjoy eating unless it's amazing. I usually know what I don't want more than what I want." When a guy, usually an older gentleman, swears, then looks at you and says sorry as if you've never heard a fucking swear word in your adult life as a woman, I usually respond by saying, "Don't fucking worry about it." Oh, good one. I hate that. As if being female makes you perpetually a minor. I'm not offended by foul language, but I sure AF am offended at being treated like some naive, delicate little thing. When you're sharing an appetizer or whatever with someone, you're supposed to know you have it. Dance over the last bite. If you tell me to go ahead, I'm gonna eat it, and I don't want to deal with any pouting, stink eye. I grew tired of always doing the back and forth, no you, fake polite shit. So for anything like that, I have a 2-steak rule. You want that? Quote, "Nah, I'm good." You sure? Quote, "Yep." You have it? Cool. Thanks. Done. I like to phrase it, "Last one's yours if you want it." That way it's clear to them you're not passively trying to see their opinion on it or secretly hoping they'll pass. When you're upset and someone notices and asks you what's wrong in public in front of other people. Like, I get that they're trying to be helpful, but asking me to talk about what's bothering me in front of others and alerting others to the fact that I'm not okay is just terrible. Pull me to the side and privately talk to me, please. Or when you're on the verge of crying in public but have it under control and someone asks what's wrong and then the floodgates open. And now everyone is watching you lose it and trying to be empathetic. But that just makes it worse, and you would have been fine if you just had a minute to deal with it privately. Thank you for the gold, kind stranger. Also, people who comment on a gold comment expecting gold as well. Stop dragging on people's coattails. If you think someone is upset about something and you ask them and they tell you they aren't, then just leave it alone. I understand you mean well, but insisting that someone tell you what's wrong when there's nothing wrong is a surefire way to make something wrong. My dad does this all the time. It's infuriating. Why are you mad? Quote, what? I'm not mad. Yes, you are. I can tell. I'm not. Quote, see? Why are you always angry? Quote, well, I wasn't before, but now I sure fucking am, monsieur. OMG. This is a crystal clear example, and I am so ashamed that I've done this. Asterisk, asterisk, cutting that shit out today. Asterisk, asterisk, thanks Reddit. Over modesty. The correct response to being complimented or congratulated is thank you. It is not to say shit like, oh, it's nothing, or, it's not that good. Saying things like that makes the person complimenting you feel stupid and makes people who can't or haven't achieved what you have feel inadequate and useless. No one likes a show-off. But there's a level of over-modesty that comes round to seeming boastful again. As if you're above your achievements and so also above the achievements of others. Take your compliments. Brushing them off is a shitty thing to do. I definitely used to do this. And it robs the person of what they're trying to do. It can make you feel like a vain piece of shit to hoard compliments though. So my solution is to compliment back the compliment. I love your new hairstyle. Thank you for noticing. Single quote. I was impressed with your work the other day. Thank you for taking the time to tell me. Single quote. You're such a good parent. Thank you. That's a very nice thing to hear. Single quote. I do this and it isn't a matter of modesty. It's a matter of self-confidence. Probably, monsieur, being complimented on certain things really fucks me up. So if I just say thank you, then I'm anxious for the next few hours about it. The next week or so, if the topic of conversation is connected to whatever I was complimented on. I don't mean to be rude, but it's much worse to accept the compliment greater than and makes people who can't or haven't achieved what you have feel inadequate and useless. That's interesting. Never seen it put that way. People who constantly say, be positive, stop thinking negative, or overly optimistic individuals baffles me as a way of being encouraging. It just shows that you're either being disingenuous towards what the other party is feeling, apathetic, ignorant, unrealistic, or all of the mentioned. Not saying the opposite is any better. I get annoyed with overly pessimistic individuals just as much. But pretending that problems don't exist isn't a feasible way to handle them, monsieur. Toxic positivity! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! When strangers give unsolicited advice. I used to have pretty bad acne, and people everywhere all the time would randomly come up to me and tell me to use toothpaste, or crush aspirin, or use apple cider vinegar, etc. Couldn't even go to the grocery store without helpful advice thrown at me. Acne is all gone now, thankfully. Thank you so much for watching and have a good day.